Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you so much for tuning in. The theme of this episode is updates only. I have a lot to talk about, okay? It's been a wild past few days and I actually had a really hard day yesterday, and I don't want to bore you with the details in the beginning of the episode, but obviously, if you're interested, I'm going to chat a little with you guys at the end. I know that this is a place for a lot of you guys to escape, but it's also a place for me to vent and share things that's going on in my head. If you haven't already, please press the subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a like, whatever platform you're on. I would love to hear from you. And it really helps my content to push it out to more people like you. But let's get into the episode. The title of the first story is, Am I the asshole for not wanting to tell my mother-in-law the gender of my unborn child? I'm a 27-year-old woman and have been married to my husband, who is 28, for 2 years. I'm currently 22 weeks pregnant with our first child. We decided we wanted to keep the gender a surprise as it didn't matter to us and we'd be happy either way. The issue, however, is my mother-in-law. There is a slight culture divide here. I'm Caucasian while she and my father-in-law are Chinese. My husband is their only child and was born here a few years after they immigrated. I'm the youngest of 6 girls. Seriously, I have no idea how my parents didn't kill us growing up, lol. And my mother-in-law and father-in-law never miss a chance to talk about what a shame it is that my parents never had a boy, and having so many girls, it's clear they're unlucky, while bragging about the fact that they had a son their first try. This gets to me, but I've heard it a million times before, so I mostly ignore it. When we were just dating, my then boyfriend, now husband, explained it as just a cultural point of view for them, to view male children as the goal, and to give him credit, he always shut them down when the conversation started down that path, though they always ended up bringing it up another time. Now I'm pregnant. She's pressuring us to tell her the gender. She wasn't happy when she found out we wanted it to be kept a secret and actually cried over us keeping such an important information from her. She insists it's important that we know what the gender of the baby is. I won't lie, I have a slight fear over how she'll react if it's a girl, based on her comments about me and my sisters in the past. My father-in-law, meanwhile, is backing up my mother-in-law and scolding my husband constantly for upsetting his mother like this. I know he hates upsetting them and is starting to cave from the pressure. I really don't want to tell her until the baby is here, but I feel like an asshole as I know it's getting to my husband. He hasn't once complained, and he is always shielding me from their scolding in this, but I can tell it's getting to them. I'm beginning to wonder. Should I just cave and find out to tell them so they'll stop putting pressure on us and deal with the issues that could rise up later if it's a girl? I hate that I'm being pushed to this choice. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole at all, and it's kind of like, I mean, if they think that, okay, I don't agree with that, and I understand that it's like a culture thing. I think they should leave it out of your pregnancy, though. I feel like if they want to act that way towards their own life, that's terrible and not great for the children if you're having girls, but there's no need for them to, which they'll probably never understand because that's their worldview and that's their point of view. So I'm sure they think that it's all fine and dandy to be putting that kind of pressure on you, but also it's your decision, it's your pregnancy, and you should not be letting anyone ruin that moment. It's your decision what you do. And if they can't handle that, then I would consider limiting conversation and contact with them, because I just don't understand. I also think that it's such an important time in your life to be stress-free and not have to worry about pressure of the outside world, although it is inevitable. You're always gonna have the outside pressure, but when you're pregnant, you're in such a vulnerable position, and I think you deserve to be stress-free as much as possible. And these people are literally the number one thing putting stress on you. Okay, some of the comments OP's made Someone said, not the asshole. Have the grandparents been informed that their attitudes are contributing to your hesitation? And she said, well, I didn't want to tell anyone regardless of this, but they're not helping. Yes, my husband has tried to tell them this, but they wave that off and don't listen. And then someone said, that sucks a lot. Is there a way for your husband to go lower contact with them in the meantime? I totally vote not the asshole, by the way. And OP said, sadly, no. They have a habit of just turning up with no warning at all. And then someone said, oh, good God, that is a serious lack of boundaries. Stand your ground. It's a totally reasonable boundary to keep private information within your nuclear family only. If you cave on this, they'll keep expecting you to cave on other boundaries too. And OP said, honestly, I'm just glad they haven't tried to move in yet. Some of my husband's friends are dealing with the exact issue after they got married and started having kids. Don't let them show up unannounced. And OP said, it's not that simple, sadly. I'd happily do this, but my husband has been raised in the belief of honoring your parents, etc. He'd never leave them on the doorstep. He does defend me as best as he can, such as taking the brunt of their pressure right now, but he is struggling against his own upbringing. I love him so much for trying, but I know none of this is easier for him. Yeah, I get that. I mean, mine isn't as strongly rooted, but I do come up, I don't know, what am I saying? I comes little speed bumps sometimes with the way that my boyfriend was raised as well, because his dad is from Israel and he immigrated here like probably 30 years ago, I would say. So as you can imagine, I think he was like 17, 18 when he immigrated here, and he had his whole childhood and formative years and even beyond that in Israel and being raised with that culture. So, of course, that did pass down to my boyfriend and his siblings, and they were taught a lot of the same things that his dad was taught, which isn't easy sometimes to deal with, honestly, because it's a split thing kind of, because his mom and his dad are so different. So they did like different things parenting style wise, but there are some things that are a little bit hard to deal with that like me and my boyfriend have had to have talks about before. And of course, like I recognized that it's like a culture thing, but sometimes it's like not something that I can, on certain things, it's not something that I can like fold on. Like I also need to stand my ground and like kind of explain to him things. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I'm like, my mind is kind of everywhere right now. Honestly, I've been like consuming way too much media the past couple days. So I've been like, I'm going to glitch probably throughout this episode. Someone said, I agree. It'll reinforce the idea to the in-laws that they can just wear her and the husband down enough for them to cave in. It's a very common Asian parenting tactic, and my Asian parents are the same. For Asians, everything is a family matter. Older Asian adults always need to have a say over everything, from what you eat, what you dress as, what you date, or who you date, why you're out after 6 p.m., etc. It's a toxic family-centric culture at play. Not the asshole for OP. Tell them that they're disappointing their son by thinking that he won't be able to produce a son of his own. Okay, mini update. It's the next day. So my mother-in-law and father-in-law came around this morning for tea, uninvited as usual, of course, and began to apply their pressure again to demand the gender of the baby. And I was ready to step in, worried about my husband, as I know this has been a lot of pressure for him, but he surprised me by snapping at them. I've never seen him truly angry with them before. The only time I've ever heard of him being truly angry is when he fought them over dating me when they didn't approve as I wasn't Chinese, but I wasn't there for that conversation, so this took me by surprise. To summarize, he told them that our child's gender was none of their business, and if they kept it up, then any future sons we will have will take my maiden name since I have no brothers to carry on the family name, as they keep reminding me. He then told them not to test him, as he'll burn their family tree to the ground. I don't know who was more shocked, them or me. He then told them to get out, and they did leave, though my father-in-law scolded him for being disrespectful and not putting family first. So it seems my concern was unwarranted and my husband is fine. Yay, we love that for him and for you. And he actually is putting family first by putting his immediate family first, his child and his wife. So I hate that argument always, but again, I understand that it's a culture thing. But I love him for that. Like, seriously, that's amazing two of OP's comments. She said, I've never once doubted he loves me, but this honestly shocked me. I know how much the family line means in his culture, so for him to make this kind of threat, the weight of it isn't lost on me. They also seemed genuinely terrified by that threat, though. My father-in-law did scold him as they left. It lacked the usual heat. I feel sorry for her, too, despite all of this, and I hope she'll come around someday. Okay, so this is a update 3 years later. It was posted on August 24th, 2025. She says, hello everyone. 3 years ago, I made this post about my pregnancy on Am I the Asshole, relating to the fact that my Chinese mother-in-law was pushing to know the gender of my unborn child, and I felt guilt over the strain this was putting on my husband. I'm currently 19 weeks pregnant with my second child, a bit of an unplanned surprise as we had planned to wait until our daughter was a little older to have a second child, but it was not an unhappy surprise. This pregnancy has caused me to reflect on my first one, and I remembered my post. I went hunting for it and luckily remembered my password. I doubt anyone here cares, but I'm in a reflecting mood, so I thought I'd post an update 3 years on, and if anyone wants to read it, then I hope you enjoy. Yes, my husband and I had a little girl. It has been incredible watching him grow from the amazing man I love into an amazing father, and she is very clearly the greatest joy in his life. We had a long conversation not long after she was born, and he actually ended up going to therapy to reconcile his feelings on his parents and his culture. He originally did not want her to know any language but English and basically to ignore his side of the culture, but he eventually realized, thanks to therapy, that he was robbing her of a chance to have a more diverse view on the world and that his experiences with his culture may not be hers. Through our daughter, he has gotten to see his culture through a fresh set of eyes, and it's like he's discovering it himself for the first time. My mother-in-law and father-in-law, as you no doubt expect, were not happy that we had a daughter and began to push us to try again to have a son almost immediately. My husband and they began to clash more and more as their behavior became abusive towards me and our daughter, and 2 years ago, we cut contact with them. We are happier for it and don't live in fear that they will drop around without warning and turn our whole day upside down. Rereading some of the old comments on my original post makes me smile, and my husband is laughing over how many of them were thirsting over him after he clashed with his parents originally. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful day and enjoy my rambled reflection on the past 3 years. Yeah, I do believe that was probably the best decision that they could have made, honestly. Sometimes that's just what has to happen, and it sucks, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I'm also glad that he decided to, I think it's so important to, pass down culture, because if I had a culture, I would love that, and, I would be upset if my parents didn't teach me it. My boyfriend's dad speaks Hebrew, and he always was upset that his dad never taught him to speak Hebrew. Although the culture definitely was I don't know, it was passed down a little bit, but I think language is so interesting, and I really would love my children to have a second language. I think that would be, or even know all the languages. Imagine, I wish that for myself. I wish that I knew all the languages and could be fluent. I think that it's so good for people to teach their child all the languages growing up, because then you are you can universally communicate with people and understand things. I don't know. I also feel and I have no scientific evidence to back this up, but I feel it strengthens a certain part of your brain that doesn't otherwise get strengthened if you don't learn another language, if that makes sense. I wish I was bilingual so badly. I was always so interested. I took so many years of Spanish, and I always was so interested in learning Spanish more. But it's not hard. It's relatively an easier, I don't know what other languages are. Honestly, I don't know the level of difficulty, but I can imagine it would be really hard to learn Chinese or Mandarin or something. I feel that'd be so hard because the letters are different, and that would be so hard for me. Yeah, I don't know, but I think it's so cool. I've always wanted to speak another language. Unfortunately, I don't have a strong culture in my family, although my grandma actually was raised to speak German and English. And some of her family members, like, I think they're dead now though, did speak just like purely German, but that just didn't really get passed down. Like, I think my mom was taught like the alphabet and numbers in German, and that's really it. I mean, I'm not really that German, obviously, but like it is in my blood. So many people in the comments are just saying that's the hottest thing I've read on here, and I think it's time to call it a day. This person said, I immediately came down to here. That was so effing hot. He pulled a Uno reverse on them and a double hit, and I had to fan myself. Someone said, I'm asexual, and that even got me. I love that. This person said, I'm glad the dad went to therapy. Letting his parents' assholery rob their daughter of her heritage would have been awful. And then someone responded, I also really like the part where he was rediscovering his own cultural history without the poison of his parents. I've had similar experiences myself, and it's amazing to fall in love anew like that. Yeah, I love that. I feel like it is so, even like apart from that, I feel like having kids, if you want to have kids, is so like refreshing, although very hard. You see the world through like a different point of view, and I feel like you probably honestly get even more, which honestly I don't need any more empathy, to be honest. Like, I'm sick of it. So I'm scared for when I have a kid, because I feel like having a kid is going to make me even softer than I already am, and like honestly I need to be a little bit like harder. I'm so sick of the constant crying and emotion that comes from this body, okay? Genuinely. Okay. The title of the next the next story is, I found out how my roommate treats my cats when I'm not home. I, 24 female, live with my cousin, 30 male. I have 3 cats, 1 adult cat, and 2 12-week kittens. And whenever I'm home, he will be mean to them in a very joking and lighthearted way. He'll call them names, fat ass, dumbass, etc. But it's in that bullying as a love language type way, and I never have been afraid of him actually mistreating my cats, especially because they clearly adore him. He plays and roughhouses with them, he pets them, but he never gets all lovey-dovey the way that I do with them. Or so I thought. I live in a 2-story house, with my bedroom being on the 2nd floor, and I always keep my door open so that the cats can go in and out. Yesterday morning, I had woken up but not gotten out of bed, and my 2 kittens were playing on the landing just outside my bedroom door. I hear my cousin start to walk up the stairs, and I stayed as quiet as possible. I knew he thought I wasn't home, because when I'm home, he always calls up to me to ask if he can come up. I have given him permission to go into my room when I'm not home to play with my cats. My door was cracked open about a foot, and I see his arm reach. He says, "Scoop," and grabs a kitten. Then I hear about a minute straight of kissy sounds and baby talk. I'm just quietly watching from my bed, trying not to let out a giggle, when he suddenly stops, slow turns, and makes stunned eye contact with me through the crack of my door. When he realized I saw/heard the whole thing, he got embarrassed and said, quote, "Oh, I saw them running around up here and thought that I'd come play with them." I laughed and said that it was totally fine, but he retreated back downstairs to put his tough guy persona back on. The photo above is one he just sent me having a cuddle session with my baby George. Okay, I thought that this was going to piss me off, so I'm really glad that it ended up being like a happy story. I'm so glad it ended up being a happy story, because we very rarely have those happy stories. Like, I love it so much. I'm so glad. There is an update 2.5 months later. It says, a while back, I made a post about how I caught my roommate baby talking my cats, and I have a new adorable development. A couple months ago, I went on family vacation, so my roommate took care of my cats while I was gone. During that week, he accidentally started a new routine with them. Each time he'd fill their food bowls, he'd stand there and give them pets and scratches while they ate. After a couple days, they decided that this is now a requirement. Only with him, though. They don't make me do this. Now, every day when he gets home, they run to the door to excitedly greet him and then run to their food bowls. They'll sit there and yell at him until he goes over to give them pets while they eat. The funniest part of it is that they free feed. I just keep their bowls full so that they can eat whenever they are hungry. I know some people frown upon that, but my work schedule is too unpredictable to keep them on a consistent feeding schedule, and none of them are overweight, so it works for us. Even though they have constant access to food, they'll wait for him to get home from work to have dinners so that he can give them scritches. So cute. Oh, that's so cute. Wait, I love that. I want to see a video. That's so adorable. And that's literally so cute. I love cats so much. I just love them. I also like have been kind of starting to be more open to the thought of having a dog, which I've been very against because for a while, because dogs are so much work. Yes, I think they are. And I've dog sat like for many years of my life, and I dog walked for a lot of years as well. So I know. And also I had a dog growing up, but it's not the same because like I wasn't really responsible for that always, you know? I mean, there were times that I had to be responsible for that, but I don't know. But we saw, which I used to babysit for someone that had this kind of dog, and I didn't know that it was like a thing amongst the breed, but the breed was like, or the dog was always so sweet and so calm and so good with like the babies that I was babysitting. But we were in Mount Dora, Florida for our weekend trip, me and Jack, and we saw this girl in the morning walking her two Great Pyrenees. And I was like, oh my God, like Great Pyrenees, they're so cute. Obviously, they're huge and fluffy, and like they look like little big gentle giants. They're huge. And so then we like started talking to her, and she has 5 Great Pyrenees, which is fucking insane to me. I mean, I love that because like that would be probably heaven, although the hair would be insane. I asked her about that, and she said she has like the vacuum robot things that go around and clean, and she said that it helps a lot, which honestly I need to invest in because cat hair is like a lot. But yeah, so we were talking to her, and she runs like a rescue for Great Pyrenees, and I never really want to like buy. I'm very big on like adopt, don't shop, but I also feel like it's nice to have like the option for a breed that you want, but rescuing them, you know what I mean? And so she was talking about them and how they're all like pretty much the same. They all have really great personalities, like very chill and down to earth. And me and Jack, like we love that kind of dog. We want that kind of dog. And so we're probably going to end up rescuing from her, not like anytime soon, but definitely once we like move. I think that I would want a dog only if we could like open the back door and let them go in the backyard, you know? So I think that will probably be when we end up getting a dog, but they're so cute. And now like I've been dreaming of getting one. And like before I was so against getting a dog, although I knew like we would eventually. Now I'm literally like, I want one. I mean, I just don't think it's realistic for us right now though, because we do have like a pretty big apartment, honestly. Like we have a 2-bedroom and it's 1,300 square feet, but it gets small. Like it just gets smaller every day. It feels like it gets smaller every day. I mean, I do always am buying fucking new furniture and stuff to decorate, but I gotta chill with that. But I just feel like I don't want like a huge house, but probably like a 2,600 square foot. That would be like double this size, which I feel like would be good for us, especially to have a dog. I don't know. I just like to have space and like separation. Otherwise, it becomes like very overwhelming for me. But I love animals. They're so cute. The top comment says, I'm so disillusioned by the horrible animal abusers or asshole partners deliberately letting animals escape or dumping them that I was fully expecting this to be one of those horror stories. Thank God it's just classic dads who did not want pets post. All right, we're going to move on to the next story. And the title is, I Hate My Ex-Husband and His Wife, plus a 2-year update. I just got a long email from my kid's stepmom pretty much telling me that she doesn't mind giving the kids extra clothing to go to school so long as they get it back from my house, because the issue isn't who bought it, but the issue is getting decent clothing back. At the same time, I get a text message from my ex-husband berating me because I didn't clip my son's fingernails on this trip because I can't find my nail clippers. I have a household of 5, and I'm the only income. My kids don't get brand new clothing at my house. My kids have to wear their clothing until it's threadbare because I can't afford to run out and get them new clothes, or even go to Goodwill and get them clothes all the time. I do the best I can on an income of $42,000 for a family of 5. I don't get child support from my ex-husband, and between him and his wife, they make 80 to 90 grand a year, depending on how busy his business is. I'm currently in college trying to get my bachelor's degree, and it's not cheap or easy to try to do that work in full time and take care of my kids. And I return the two of them always point out what I'm doing wrong, how my kids are suffering because I'm in school and I can't spend a lot of time with them, and just generally picking me apart. I hate them. I'm trying so hard to hold it together and do the best I can, and it's never enough. And I really truly feel hatred for these two, and I hate it. I'm sorry if my rate doesn't make sense. Right now, I have to use talk to text because my phone screen is cracked and it doesn't read my finger tapping correctly. Thank you for giving me a space and a moment to get that off my chest and rant a little bit. That's okay. First of all, I commend this person for being able to take care of a family of 5 with the income of $42,000. That's genuinely like, I mean, oh my God, it makes me so upset because that's so hard. Like, that's so hard. $42,000. I mean, I know this is in 2023, but I don't think that much has changed within that time frame. So, like, that's just so hard. And honestly, I feel like my mom probably made less than that. Most of the time growing up, my mom made like $12 to $14 an hour, which of course it was like a different time, so things were cheaper than they are now, like, but still it was a struggle bus, and like barely getting any money from my dad for taking care of 3 kids, like pretty much full time. I mean, pretty much. That's kind of crazy. Like, how much even is that full time? And also, like, after taxes. Also, this girl's $42,000 probably isn't even off after taxes. Oh, so my mom's income was like probably $25,000 a year. That is kind of crazy. My mom, honestly, hero material. I mean, she worked her little butt off to take care of us. And the jobs that she did were not easy. Like, she worked in hospice care and for years, and she would get spit on and scratched and slapped and called like names, although there were like rewarding times and rewarding experiences. A majority of the experiences, because you're working with like patients with dementia and stuff, and of course it's not their fault, but still doesn't make it any easier to deal with getting scratched and spit on and slapped by people that you're taking care of. But she's such an angel that she was like so good at it. But it's crazy. I don't know how much they get paid now, and obviously like it varies from different like towns and stuff and states. Why am I saying towns? It varies in different areas, of course. And my mom was not a registered nurse as well, so she definitely didn't make as much as like what a nurse would make. It says here the average salary for a hospice worker varies by role. For example, a hospice nurse in the U.S. makes about $70,000 annually, while a hospice aide earns approximately $38,000 annually as of 2023. So that's kind of crazy. They should make $700,000 a year because that's a hard job. That is a hard job. I wish that jobs were more dependent on like how much work it is and like the good that you're doing, so that like if you're a teacher, you get paid so much. Like, that's how it should be. If you're a teacher, you should get paid so much because you're literally influencing the youth. You're teaching kids every day, like watching kids every day, having to like put up with kids every day, and also educating them, and also being a big part of their lives, like your full-time part of their lives. And you should be paid like $200,000. Literally, you should. You really should. Okay, let's read some of the relevant comments. Someone said, "You're doing the best you can, and I'm sure your kids know you love them. You should try to get some child support. It sounds like he's getting off easily." And then OP said, "The last time we went to court, the only thing that happened is I got the ability and the right to claim the children on taxes every year until they're adults. The majority of his business, he gets paid cash under the table, and the little bit of cash he doesn't get paid under the table or that he does claim is not enough to get child support from him. And they don't look at his wife's income. So I've been through this. Maybe if I get into a better financial situation and can afford a lawyer, I'll revisit. I only have 2 more years and then I'll have my degree." And someone said, "If he makes that much money, why aren't you getting child support?" OP said, "Because on paper, I make more than him because he doesn't report his full earnings and I have no way of proving that. I've been through this for the last 4 years. I only have 2 children in common with him, and on paper, I make almost double what he makes, and they don't look at his wife's income." That's kind of crazy. You make almost double what he makes on paper, but he's making 90K? Or wait, I guess she said combined. Okay, someone said, "Where's the other father of the older kids?" And OP said, "Deceased. He passed away in 2016. That's really sad." And then someone said, "If he makes that much money, why aren't you getting child support?" Oh, I already read that comment, but someone responded to that comment and said, "She said they make 80 to 90 a year between them. That means he also only makes about the same as OP, but has a partner who contributes to their household. Stepmom is not responsible for paying child support." True. That's very true. Okay, this is 2 years and 2 months later update. She said, "I made a post here 2 years ago. I originally posted how I hate my ex-husband and his wife. I have an update, or several. 1, I'm an RN now. My kids have new clothes, and thanks to your advice, I was able to keep them in really nice clothes until I was able to afford new stuff. 2, I have a boyfriend. This is relevant. My ex made fraudulent claims about him to DCF. He was eventually told if he continued, then the police would be involved. He still has moments where he slips up, but he's been more helpful and less condescending by a lot. Thank you to whoever suggested the parenting app. The court agreed it was a good move, and I think that above all else, it has made a huge difference. Not sure who cares, but I wanted to say thanks." Wait, I'm so confused. Like, what kind of update is that? I can't even really comprehend what she's saying, to be honest. My ex made fraudulent claims about her boyfriend to DCF. He was eventually told if he continued, then the police would be involved. Involved? Who was told? Your boyfriend or him? The top comment says, "So I guess the IRS never got him for working under the table." And then someone said, "Not many IRS agents left. Doubt they're going after anyone for the difference between 10K and 40K annual income." So real. And honestly, they shouldn't. Honestly, they shouldn't. Like, they should be going after the billion trillionaires and asking them for more money. This person said, "I'm afraid to ask, but what's the new tax bill? I haven't heard about this yet. Is it passed or just in talks?" Someone said, "Lots of tax cuts and lots of changes in spending. 187 billion taken away from SNAP and 917 billion taken away from Medicaid. 175 billion added to immigration patrol and border security. You see where this admin's priority lies." Boo. That's really all I have to say about that is boo mother effing tomatoes. Like, I would literally throw them at the stage. Ugh. Disgusting. Don't even get me started. Someone commented, "This reminds me of my childhood. When my dad left my mom and remarried, he and my stepmom were far better off financially than my mom was. She was studying to try and get herself a career late in life after basically being a stay-at-home mom for us 3 kids for 15 years. He'd make snide comments all the time about her ability to look after us properly and her money situation. Now 10 plus years later, she's thriving in her career, owns her house while he's unemployed, lives in a caravan park, remarried again, and we basically have no relationship with him. Single moms are powerhouses that always get underestimated, but I've watched so many of them get back on their feet after being left in the dust by their husbands. It just takes a little time." That's amazing. That is amazing. Single moms are fucking everything. They're everything and more. They're divas, fierce divas. literally heroes. Like, that's who we should be calling a fucking American hero. A single mom is an American hero for sure, for real. But those are all the stories that I have for the day. Okay. Oh wait, why is it looking like something is on my face right now in the viewfinder? I don't know what that is, but I want to take an advice call, but I also want to talk about this. But I'm also filming a Patreon episode, so I wonder if I should just rant on Patreon about it, because especially because a lot of the times when I talk about political things, well, not even political things, just human rights, people get mad about that kind of stuff. People get mad about wanting humans to live a good life and not have to be privileged to do so. People get really mad about that. Like, if you care and you have empathy for people that aren't just like white, straight, cis men, there are going to be people coming for your throat. But those people will be blocked immediately, because I cannot deal with that, actually. Like, I don't want to hear your voice. I don't want to see your existence. Like, I just want to ignore that part of the world, okay? Yesterday, I don't know when this episode's coming out, but yesterday when I'm filming this, Charlie Kirk was shot at his rally yesterday. I did see an up-close video, and it was a terrible video. First of all, let me just tell you, yesterday, I was at the gym, and I was scrolling on my feed. I've been, like, researching about the woman. I need to learn how to pronounce her name before I say anything. Okay, this is saying Irina Zarutska. I hope that's correct, because I really don't want to pronounce her name wrong. Irina Zarutska, Ukrainian refugee who got unalived in the worst way ever on the train, on the subway, I believe it was. And that video was also circulating, and I did watch it. I don't know why I do that to myself, truly. Like, you would think that I would ignore it, especially because it really affects me and my mental health, but I still watched it. And then I felt terrible anxiety, and I cried for the rest of the day. But then after that, a couple hours after that, is when Charlie Kirk's video was going around, and I saw that. So yeah, I saw two terrible videos, very graphic, and no one wants to watch that. Like, if you have not seen either of those videos, don't watch them. Genuinely, they traumatized me. But I still choose to, like, look stuff up like that, and I don't understand why. I don't know why. It's terrible. I shouldn't be looking at stuff like that, but I still do. I don't even know. I've just been struggling a lot because, like, gun violence and just seeing all of these people, which, let me tell you, I've unfollowed a lot of people. Okay? Seeing all of these people posting about this man, but have never spoken up about gun violence before, when there's literally kindergartners being shot in this country every week at this point. There was one at the same time as this in Colorado, and 3 or 4 high schoolers were in critical condition. I'm not sure what the update on that is now, but it's just really crazy that people have more empathy for a man who went around to impressionable college kids to spread his hateful rhetoric about homophobic, xenophobic, transphobic, racist, anti-women, what else? Everything you could ever imagine, phobic. Any minority, he was phobic towards. While I do feel empathy, because empathy for me is not a choice, like, I don't decide who I feel empathy for and who I feel sadness for, I do. Like, also, just seeing that video was terrible. So, of course, like, I don't think anyone deserves to be shot like that. Like, I don't think that's, oh, he deserved it because he was a terrible person. I don't think that way. I don't think that anyone deserves that. I don't think that, okay, I have empathy for that, you know? But I think there are so many things in the world that people could be posting about. Like, for instance, the shooting at the school. Where was the uproar with that? Where was that uproar? That's just what I'm wondering. Like, I'm just confused. Also, 4 months ago, 2 Democrats and their dog were also unalived at their house, and I didn't see this much uproar about that. Or maybe that just goes to show that I follow the wrong people. But unfortunately, I live in I'm from a conservative town. I live in a conservative state right now. I don't know why, because I hate it. Okay. I just didn't see uproar about that. And I understand that we didn't get to see the videos. So maybe the videos are making people more upset about it because you see it happening, and that makes it so real and scary. But like, hello, that's exactly why we need control. That's what we've been fighting for this whole time. And gun control isn't just going to protect the people that want gun control. It's also going to protect you guys who think that it's okay to say that, unfortunately, a few deaths, like, that's literally what he said. He said, and I still don't think he deserved to be unalived, okay? I still don't think that. But yeah, he did live by the sword and die by the sword. He said that, unfortunately, people have to die in order for us to have the Second Amendment. After what? Like, it was right after unaliving at a kindergarten, or a bunch of kindergartners were unalived at the hands of that. Like, oh, it makes me sick that people don't care until it's a white man that goes around spreading hate and debating young kids. That's just what makes me upset. Because the amount of people I've seen being like, a true inspiration was lost. A true inspiration. If that's your inspiration, I never want to speak to you again. That's a terrible inspiration to have. And just because someone dies does not mean they're all of a sudden a good person. And that doesn't mean that I'm celebrating his death. But hello? Like, why do people become martyrs all of a sudden after they can have the worst viewpoints and the worst reputation, but yet once they die, it's like, oh my God, a true inspiration, an American hero who fought for our freedom and the youth of Americans. Hello. I'm not okay. I'm genuinely not. And the thing is just like, I just care about people, unfortunately, because some people just don't care about you. Like, he wouldn't care if that happened to me. He would be like, well, unfortunately, that's just what has to happen in order for us to keep our Second Amendment. But yeah, I'm going to probably talk more about that on the Patreon because I don't want to get too into that. I think, first of all, this platform will get a little mad at me for saying the G word too many times, and also like other things like the K word and stuff like that. So I can't really say like everything that I want to say, but I have a lot to say, and I have a lot of anger and a lot of resentment and a lot of empathy, unfortunately, because that's just the person. I know that it's like so cringe to be like, I'm so empathetic, because some people are just like, you're actually not empathetic at all. But like, I am. I cry at everything. Unfortunately, I am empathetic. I was very upset for that happening, but I'm also very upset for all the other violence against children in the world. But no one else is upset about that. No one else cares about that. All these people posting about one guy when there's been school every week this year. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna have to censor myself so much because I can't keep saying these words, but it's like so stressful. I had my horse lesson today, my 7th horse lesson. I'm literally obsessed. First of all, sorry, I'm changing the subject really quick just to update you guys. I'm gonna talk more about that on my Patreon though, but I am obsessed with horseback riding. It's so fun, especially now that I have my posting trot down. Okay. I've been doing 2-point little jumping positions as well, which is not that easy, but I've been getting better at it, I think. And today we are doing diagonals, which is just really when you like post when a certain shoulder is forward. I don't know. That's kind of confusing for me, honestly, because I don't know what I'm going up. I can't really connect my body to my brain very well, but I rode Sparky again today. I've ridden him 5 times out of the 7 that I've ridden there, and I think we're really starting to bond, even though they say that like the horses don't care about you. First of all, he actually did bite me today, which was so rude, but I think it was just because of, it was like right when the girl was helping me tighten the girth, and I think that's why he bit me. He bit me in the butt cheek, the left butt cheek. Okay, I was like, okay, buddy. He just nibbled me. It didn't like hurt that bad. It felt like someone pinched me, but I was like, excuse me, sir. Please don't do that. Thank you very much. But he's been listening to me really well. I don't know if that's because my coach has been making me carry a crop, although I don't really use it, honestly, but I think that he knows that I have it, and he kind of, but I don't know. I also was carrying the crop once, and he didn't really like listen to me, but the past couple times, I'm telling you, he's been the best horse ever. He's been listening to every move, like everything I tell him, he listens so well, and I've been loving it, and like he's just been such a good boy. I don't know if that's because he knows me now. Comment down below. Let me know if you're educated about horses. Let me know, because this is why I feel like he likes me, even though he probably doesn't give a damn about me. But I'm like, I feel like he knows me now because I've ridden him like 5 times, and I feel like he remembers me, and he knows that like I love him, and that every single time I ride him, we have a fun time, we have a laugh, and then after, I give him a really good bath, a really good little squeegee, and I let him drink so much water out of the hose. And then I take him to the grass to graze for like 15 minutes, usually after every single time I ride him. And I feel like he like knows, and he's like, okay, I like this girl, fine, I'll just listen. That's my theory, which probably is so dead wrong, but I would like to believe it's because we've been forming a little bond, even though he gets to ride. Other people ride him, which kind of makes me jealous. I'm like, no, you can't ride Sparky. Sorry, he's for me. Only me. I wonder if I could lease him, even though I know it's so expensive, and I probably won't do that for a while, but like that would be fun, because then I know that you guys say like I should take more lessons, and I do like the lessons and I want to keep taking them. But at the same time, sometimes I just want to ride. And I don't want to like, I just want to ride. I just want to ride him. Like, I just want to have fun and ride him. I don't want to like learn new things sometimes. I just want to do it for fun sometimes. And I feel like I can never do that because obviously like I'm taking a lesson. So they're going to teach me new stuff and coach me on things. But I just love him so much. He's just such a good horse. He's such a good listener. He is just a good boy. So. Yep, I formed a new bond. And I love going to my horse lessons because I never think about anything else, when usually my brain is like flooded by thoughts of just terrible things all the time, because there's like the world is scary, and unfortunately I care about people. And when I go and ride Sparky, like I think of nothing other than what I'm doing with him and how I'm riding him and practicing things. So yeah, that's really all. I have my last lesson of this package next week, and then I'm probably just going to buy more. I honestly might buy 8 next time, because like if it's a better deal than 4, I'll probably just buy 8 because I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing the lessons. I want to get better, and I want to be able to like feel really confident in everything so that I can end up like leasing a horse someday. So yeah, I love you guys so much. Thanks for listening. And if you have anything bad to say, I guess you can say it so I can block you. But that's all I have to say. I love you guys, and I'm so happy you're alive. Thanks for tuning in to this episode. Let me know what you thought in the comments. I would love to hear. Okay? Love you. Bye. Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.